to talk about dirty read in DBMS with an example. So it is used in transaction. A transaction is a sequence of operations performed with single logical unit of work properties of transaction. There are asset properties, automaticity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Dirty read occurs when a transaction reads data written by another uncommitted transaction. Explanation, for example, this is transaction 1 updates a record. Example sets balance 549. T2 reads the updated balance before T1 commits. Means this could be a dirty read of the. And if T1 rolls back, the read value T1 becomes invalid or dirty, and the change was not permanent. Dirty reads are problematic as they can lead to inconsistent data being used in further transaction and incorrect results. Asset property isolation. Isolation installs transaction and securely and independently process. Dirty read violates this property. How to avoid dirty reads? Set transaction isolable to a critical level, read committed or serializable. Isolation levels in DBMS. Read uncommitted allows dirty read. Read committed prevents dirty read. Repeatable and read serializable. Stricter controls. Real life analogy. Imagine checking your balance while it's being updated. You might see a temporary incorrect amount. Dirty reads are a result of weak isolation levels. Proper isolation levels prevent data inconsistencies and ensure reliable transactions. Thank you. Now let's revise what we have studied. Yeah. Dirty read occurs during transactions. What is a transaction? A transaction is a sequence of operations performed as a single logical unit of work. Properties of transaction we have studied: asset property, atomicity, which is a transaction is all or nothing. Consistency means that data remains consistent or in a valid state uh, in every step. And isolation, one transaction does not affect another process or another transaction. Means transactions are independent. And durability, and it means if the transaction is committed, the change is permanent. And even if the system crashes, it will not change, and the change will be permanent. What is dirty read? Now let's come to our topic. Dirty read occurs when a transaction reads data by another uncommitted transaction. Means a transaction, let's say transaction T1 has an uncommitted but changes the data. And a transaction T2 reads the change data that T1 has committed. And if T1 rolls back, the T2 which has read the transaction becomes invalid data. For example, here we can see that the transaction T1 updates a record. Balance 5,000 means uh, let's say a account, and here it shows balance is 500, and we are doing transaction T2, we are reading the updated balance, but some error occurs and T1 rolls back, which means that this 5,000 amount is incorrect, but we have read the 5,000 amount and T1 hasn't committed yet, means that this is we are not sure about this transaction. So this is an example of dirty read. Now, if T1 rolls back, like what I said, T1 if rolled back, the read value of T1 becomes invalid, or we can say dirty. That's why its name is dirty read. Hence, the change was not permanent, and we have read the incorrect value as transaction T2. Dirty reads are problematic as they can lead to inconsistent data. As we can see, in transaction properties, asset properties, consistency matters a lot. And any step data should be consistent, otherwise there are chances of errors in further transaction and incorrect result. It will produce incorrect errors further. So it is a major issue to solve dirty reads. Asset property isolation. Isolation ensures transaction are securely and independently processed. Transaction should be independently processed, as we have seen in the example of Bettery. The transactions will not interfere with each other. Bettery violates this property. Asset property violate, are being violated. How to avoid? We can avoid dirty reads by uh, set transaction ISO level to a stricter level, like read committed or serializable. Mean if uh, We can read after committed, we can read a transaction after it has been committed. Okay. Isolation levels. Read uncommitted, allowed dirty reads. Read committed, prevents dirty reads. This is an ideal scenario. And repeatable reads raise 6 to 8 controls. These two are ideal scenarios. We should avoid this. Real life environment. Imagine checking our bank balance while it's been updated. As I see, you might see a temporary incorrect. Thank you.